Ever wondered how to make a perfect cheesecake that just melts in your mouth? Welcome to our journey into the world of this creamy, delightful dessert. Originating from ancient Greece, cheesecake has been tantalizing taste buds for centuries. Over time, it has evolved into a rich blend of cheese, sugar, and eggs on a crust, with countless variations around the globe. Each bite is a testament to the art of baking. Today, we're going to walk you through the process of making the perfect cheesecake. The secret to a delicious cheesecake starts with choosing the right ingredients. Let's start with cream cheese, the heart and soul of any cheesecake. The cream cheese gives our cheesecake its creamy, rich flavor. Always opt for full-fat cream cheese. It's the fat that gives our cake its luxurious texture and depth of flavor. Next up, we have sugar. It's not just about sweetness. Sugar also helps to balance the tanginess of the cream cheese. Just remember, moderation is key. Too much sugar can overpower the delicate balance of flavors. Eggs are our binding agent, holding everything together. They also lend a certain richness and creaminess to the cheesecake. Always use fresh eggs as they make a noticeable difference. Lemon juice is our secret weapon. It subtly brightens up the cheesecake, cutting through the richness and adding a touch of freshness. Always use fresh lemon juice, not the bottled stuff. Vanilla extract enhances the flavor of the cheesecake, adding a hint of warmth and sweetness. A good quality pure vanilla extract can elevate your cheesecake from good to great. Lastly, let's not forget about our crust. Whether you're using graham crackers, cookies, or nuts, the crust provides a nice contrast to the creamy filling. The better the quality of your crust materials, the better your cheesecake will be. Remember, fresh and high-quality ingredients will give you the best tasting cheesecake. Now that we have our ingredients, it's time to start mixing. The first step in creating our melt-in-your-mouth cheesecake is to beat the cream cheese. This might seem like a simple task, but it's actually one of the most crucial steps in the process. You see, cream cheese can be quite stubborn, it's dense and doesn't always want to combine with the other ingredients. But by beating it first, you're breaking down its structure and making it more willing to mingle with its fellow ingredients. Start by placing the cream cheese in a large mixing bowl. Using an electric mixer on a medium speed, beat the cream cheese until it's smooth and creamy. This usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes. Don't rush this step. Patience is key. You want the cream cheese to be as smooth as possible to ensure a silky, luxurious cheesecake. Next up, we're going to add the sugar. Sprinkle it in gradually, continuing to beat the mixture as you do. Once all the sugar is incorporated, you should notice the texture of the cream cheese start to change. It'll become lighter and fluffier, thanks to the air being incorporated during the beating process. Now, let's introduce the eggs. One at a time, crack them into the bowl, beating well after each addition. This is another step you don't want to rush. Adding the eggs slowly ensures they're thoroughly mixed in and helps to prevent any unwanted lumps. Finally, it's time to add the vanilla extract and sour cream. Again, beat these in gradually, ensuring they're fully incorporated before moving on to the next step. Throughout this process, remember to frequently scrape down the sides of the bowl. This ensures all ingredients are evenly incorporated and prevents any lumps from forming. The secret to a smooth cheesecake is to avoid over-mixing. You want to incorporate just enough air to make it light. But remember, overbeating can lead to a cheesecake that's too airy and may crack during baking. So once everything's combined, stop beating. Your cheesecake mixture is now ready for the crust. A perfect cheesecake needs a perfect crust. So let's get right into it. Our crust is going to be a classic combination of graham crackers, sugar, and melted butter. First, we'll take about 1½ cups of crushed graham crackers. You can crush these yourself for that homemade touch, or get them pre-crushed if you prefer convenience. Next up is our sweet factor, a 1/4 cup of sugar. It's just enough to give our crust that delightful sweetness without overpowering it. Now, to bring it all together, we'll add 1/2 cup of melted butter. This not only binds our crust together, but also gives it a rich, buttery flavor that complements the cheesecake so well. Mix these all together till you get a consistency resembling wet sand. Now comes the important part, pressing the crust firmly into the pan. This ensures your crust holds up well and doesn't crumble when you slice into your cheesecake. A good crust will provide a nice contrast to the creamy filling. And with that, our crust is ready for the next step. With our mixture ready and our crust set, it's time to bake the cheesecake. Now, the baking process is where the magic truly happens, where all those luscious ingredients come together to create a masterpiece of creamy delight. First, let's pour our cheesecake mixture into the crust. Do it gently. letting the mixture fill up the crust evenly. It's a bit like pouring a foundation for a building. You want it to be smooth and even. Now we're going to use a technique called a water bath. This might sound fancy, but it's actually quite simple. All you need to do is place your cheesecake pan in a larger pan filled with hot water. The water should come about halfway up the sides of the cheesecake pan. This method helps to evenly distribute the heat and prevents the edges from cooking faster than the center. And that's crucial for achieving that perfect, creamy consistency we're after. Temperature is key here. We're not just throwing our cake into a fiery furnace and hoping for the best. No, we're going to bake our cheesecake at a moderately low temperature, around 325 degrees Fahrenheit. This slow and steady heat will allow our cheesecake to cook uniformly without over-browning the top or forming cracks. Now here's where your patience will be tested. Once the cheesecake is in the oven, resist the urge to open the oven door. I know the aromas wafting from the oven will be tantalizing and the curiosity might be killing you, but trust me, opening the oven door can drastically drop the oven temperature and interrupt the baking process. Let it be. Allow the oven to do its job. Remember, cheesecake isn't a race, it's a journey of flavors, textures, and heavenly delight. So take your time, follow these steps, and you're on your way to creating a cheesecake that not only looks impressive, but tastes out of this world. Patience is key when baking a cheesecake. Resist the urge to open the oven door. You're doing great, and we're almost at the finish line. Stay tuned for the next step, cooling and serving your masterpiece. The hardest part of making a cheesecake, waiting for it to cool. Yes, indeed, it's a test of patience, but a crucial one that can make or break your dessert masterpiece. Let's dive into the details. After the cheesecake is finished baking, it's not time to pull it out of the oven just yet. An abrupt change in temperature might lead to cracks in your cheesecake. So, here's a little trick. Turn off the oven and crack open the door. Let the cheesecake sit in the oven for about an hour. This gradual cooling process allows the cheesecake to set and finish cooking without the surface cracking. Once the hour is up, remove the cheesecake from the oven. It should look set but not rigid. A little wobble in the middle is perfectly fine. Now, run a thin-bladed knife around the edge of the cheesecake. This will help it shrink away from the sides of the pan as it cools, preventing any cracks from forming. Next, it's time for the refrigerator. But wait, before you put it in, let the cheesecake cool at room temperature for a while. Only when it's cool to the touch, wrap it up and place it in the fridge. A minimum of 4 hours is recommended, but for best results, let it chill overnight. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, serving the cheesecake, unclasp the sides of the springform pan and remove the cheesecake. Remember, the cheesecake is a delicate dessert. Handle it with care. As for toppings, the choice is all yours. Fresh berries, a dollop of whipped cream, a drizzle of caramel or chocolate sauce, or a dusting of powdered sugar, any of these can enhance the flavor and presentation of your cheesecake. And there you have it, a perfect cheesecake that will melt in your mouth. The cooling process might require a bit of patience, but when you take that first bite of your creamy, dreamy cheesecake, you'll know it was worth the wait. So, are you ready to make your own mouth-melting cheesecake? Let's recap the journey we've taken today. We started by emphasizing the importance of quality ingredients because every great dessert begins with the best materials. Then we delved into the process of mixing these ingredients, a delicate ballet of flavors that sets the foundation for our cheesecake. Next came the crust, that crunchy buttery base that provides a counterpoint to the creamy cheesecake. And then, the baking, where all our efforts come together in the heat of the oven. Finally, we cooled and served our creation, the proof of our labor and love. Now it's your turn to embark on this sweet journey. Go ahead, gather your ingredients, preheat your oven, and put on that apron. Don't forget to share your results because every cheesecake has a story to tell and we're eager to hear yours. Thank you for joining us today. We can't wait to hear how your cheesecake turns out.